क्या सेंड करूं?
So, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for taking out time on a Saturday to come and attend this workshop. So, I will start with a short introduction of myself. My name is Asavari, and I am 22 years old. I'm a self-directed learner. So, at the age of 10, I left the conventional schooling, and since then, I have been on a path of open learning and learning by myself, learning more based on my interests and not based on any curriculum or any exam or anything. And at the age of 16, 15, 16, I chose that I do not want to take the 10th exam or the path of college. And so I wanted to create my own path as a person who wanted to create my own life. And so I chose not to walk down that path. And I started exploring what are my interests, what are my passions, what do I want to do in the world. And I found that my passion is of environmental sustainability of the planet, to live in connection with nature. That is what I discovered, that is something that I'm very passionate about. And in 2019, in the month of May, I started Dhanak. Dhanak is a is like my little baby, I would say. But it's a brand that I initiative that I run, where I am currently selling natural personal care products. But my main vision of Dhanak is to spread the possibility of natural personal care. And so I'm doing that through making and selling products, but also sharing recipes and taking such workshops to help more and more people to use and either make their own or buy or use natural personal care. So that's what I've been doing for the last 1.5 2 years, completely focusing on this aspect in environmental sustainability. And that is why today I would like to share with you whatever I know. And so I would like to also say here, as a small disclaimer, that I'm a self-taught person. Everything that I have learned, I have explored myself, found mentors and learned from them, done a lot of research online, and then experimented with a lot of things, tried on myself, tried on my is my voice breaking for other people also? No. Then Namita, I think it's your connection that is not good. So as I was saying, I'm a self-taught person, who I haven't done any so-called degree or anything, and everything is out of my own. Whatever I'm going to share with you today is out of my own personal experience. And so I would invite you also to take it as like that, and you try out and see what works for you, what is your what is right for you, instead of just listen, like agreeing to whatever I say. And most importantly, I'm not a medical practitioner, so none of what I share is a replacement of any, if you have any medical issues or anything like that. And definitely I cannot diagnose if you have any skin related or hair related issues. I can definitely share home remedies, but I just, that kind of giving you a medical advice is not something that I even would want to do, because that is not my expertise. And basically all that I'm going to share with you is more like home recipes that I have tried to take from whatever ancestral Indian knowledge that we have, the Ayurvedic knowledge that we have. Yeah. So great, thank you everyone for coming. And before we get started, if there's any if anyone has any questions. Okay, fine. So I just want to start off with a little bit of theory, just share with you why natural personal care, and a little very basic theory of natural personal care. And then we will dive into the practicals of, today we'll be covering hair care, and then tomorrow we will do skin care and oral care. So basically, for me, when I read the behind of my cosmetics, like I read behind the shampoo bottle or the lotion or anything like that. I think I asked you also to do that. If any of you had the time and space to ever read, not just today, but if you have ever read behind the cosmetic bottles, a lot of especially when I read it, I realized that I don't identify a lot of the ingredients. And when I went to research about these ingredients online, I personally was very shocked by what I found. To know, to read about that the ingredients in my shampoo is having some chemicals that are very harmful for me. What was super shocking was when I picked up a baby shampoo bottle. I assumed that, something which is for a newborn baby or a very small child would be 100% safe product. But when I saw the ingredients there, it had sodium lauryl sulfate, which is known to be connected to cancer. So that kind of then I lost all my trust in the commercial products that are available. When I saw that in a baby shampoo also there's something that is connected to cancer, there are so many of these chemicals that are connected to reproductive disorders, hormone disruptions. The more you go into beauty products and makeup products like hair straighteners, hair color, lipsticks and eye color, eyeshadows, the more the harsher the chemicals. And then that is where I began my journey, that no, if these chemicals are so harmful for me, then I need to find something that is safe for me. And of course, if it's if it's harmful for me, that means it's going to be harmful for other people, it's going to be harmful for the planet. And also, now in the last 2 3 years, when I've been working and I've been interacting with a lot of people, I've seen that in urban spaces, especially, most women are dealing with issues like hair fall, dandruff, early graying of hair. A lot of women, especially of my mother's generation, are facing the issue of early graying of hair, hair fall, dandruff, thinning of hair. These are like very common hair issues that I have seen in a lot of people. And I feel that it's, though there are many many aspects to why this can be, one definitely is that there is harsh chemicals in our shampoos, in our soaps, which is causing these common skin and hair issues. But of course, it's a lot also about lifestyle, diet, and all of that. But one definitely is that. And when I dig deeper and I thought, okay, there are like this Patanjali, or there are so many brands out there which claim to be even Himalaya and a lot of other brands, they claim to be, natural and herbal. And so when I went to pick those products, and when I read the ingredients, they also have, these chemicals, because I understood that there's no proper laws or regulations in India. So I can, as a brand, can put natural, herbal, ayurvedic, organic, any of these words on my label, and there is no definition of it. So I can put whatever I want and say whatever I want. So that kind of misled me. And personally, I lost trust in all the brands, though of course now I've discovered there are very good brands also, but I lost trust. And so I started making my own products. And that this is the main kind of reason why I use natural personal care, because it's safe for me, it's safe for the earth. And also, um, it's zero waste, because if we see, the most of the, let's say, cosmetics will come in a single use bottle, that once we're done with it, we will throw it in the dustbin, and we're creating a lot of plastic waste. And it's compassionate to animals, especially because a lot of beauty brands use rabbits and other animals to test their products before they sell it out in the market, which especially for people who are vegan, it's something that, and I think for anyone to know that, what, because of us some animals are being tortured, is not a very pleasant thing. So these are my four reasons of why I use natural.
प्लीज मैम, प्लीज प्लीज अंदर चल जाओ.
Oh, okay, somebody was not. And in this, of course, one thing to know for sure is that when one is talking about natural personal care, it becomes very interconnected overall with natural living itself. Because if I'm just using only natural personal care products, but I'm eating a lot of food that is not good for me, or I'm not getting enough sleep, or I'm not having a good active lifestyle, or I'm feeling very stressed, so then whatever I put on my hair is not going to grow well, because all of these factors play in well. So for me, entering natural personal care as a as a lifestyle was also about looking at every aspect of my life, whether it's sleep, or whether it's stress or food. So I also want to share this with you, that to expect magical results out of a natural product is, I mean, you can expect, but it may not happen, because a lot of things are connected, and it's about having a holistic approach to life. So this is, I mean, I'm not going to go very much in detail as to why. I just wanted to briefly share with you. I did share a video on WhatsApp, which is the story of cosmetics, where she really in detail kind of explains why we should use natural personal care. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a little bit of theory as to what is natural exactly, and then we will dive into the practicals. We will actually start see how we can make the products. So in my understanding, there are different. When we say this is a natural product, or this shampoo or this soap is a natural thing, then there are four kinds of ingredients that can be we can categorize. And the first one would be 100% natural ingredient, which would mean that it's a direct ingredient from nature. It's a direct ingredient. For example, if you take shikakai, or you take rita, or you take even any flowers or herbs like hibiscus flower or neem or curry leaves, or all of these in any form, whether it's fresh or dried or powdered or any form, when we are it's still in it's a process. Definitely if you're drying it, you're processing it, but it's still it's completely natural. It's direct from the nature. So that is, it is 100% natural ingredient. Then there are ingredients that are naturally derived, that are taken from nature, but they are processed in such a way that uh, th- that they're processed in such a way that they stay for long. For example, in this would be aloe vera gel. So if you buy commercial aloe vera gel, they would have added some preservatives and done some processing so that it stays. Because if you take a fresh aloe vera gel from a plant, it will not stay good for more than 2-3 days. After that, it will go bad. But if you buy commercial aloe vera gel, it is still natural, it is still very safe for the body, but it has been processed in such a way that it will stay for longer time. Then there are ingredients that are naturally identical, which means that they are made in the lab, but they are very similar to things available in nature. An example for this would be citric acid. So citric acid is something that in natural cleaners, mostly not in personal care, but in natural cleaners like laundry bars or laundry soaps, even no, not baking soda, washing soda, and these kind of things are used but these ingredients are very safe for me or the planet, but they are not 100% natural. They are identical, they are made in the lab. Like citric acid is identical to the lemon, the citrus in lemon and orange and things like that, but it's made in the lab. But it's not harmful, so it is still okay to use in if when we are making a product. And the last would be completely synthetic, which has nothing to do specifically with any natural ingredient. For example, when we do cold press soap making, which if you have ever seen in the market, handmade natural soap bars and things like that, these soaps are made using the chemical of lye. But the process of soap making is such, and the use of lye is such, that in the end the soap bar is natural and it is safe to use. So I also wanted to share with you this because it's not necessary that all ingredients are harmful, or it's not that chemicals are bad. The word chemical, there's nothing bad or good about chemicals. There are just some ingredients, some chemicals that can be harmful to us when we use them. There are some that could cause certain issues or diseases to us, or there are some that can cause certain issues or problems to the like to the earth. It can contaminate the water or harm the soil or harm the animals who consume that water or things like that. So there's some harmful chemicals, but otherwise if the ingredient is safe for you and is safe for the planet, then there's nothing wrong about using that kind of that ingredient or that product. I will mainly be focusing on ingredients of the first category, because I'm also trying to show you recipes that you can make at home. So at home, generally in the kitchen and things like that, we have ingredients that are 100% natural, that come directly from nature. But I wanted to share with you this to say that there are many different categories of ingredients, and it's not natural doesn't have to be that it is not, there's no chemical involved or there is no lab or synthetic process involved. It's just that one needs to take care that whatever one is using, it is safe for them and safe for the planet, so we're not harming anyone. Okay. So one very important thing about most of the recipes that I will be sharing with you is that the products are anhydrous products, which means no water. Simply, the simple reason for this is, suppose if you have made today for lunch, you at home you had made dal or sambar for lunch, and if you so you have used water, you have used dal, you have cooked it, you have used different ingredients, and if you keep it after 2-3 days, that dal is going to go bad because you have added water. But the same dal, suppose you made moong dal for lunch today, that same moong dal, if I keep it the dry form in a dabba and I don't do anything with it, or even if I powder it and I keep it in the dabba, even after 2-3 days, that powder or that dal is not going to get spoiled. And that is why if we are using any product which has water in it, and because we are not adding any preservatives, we are making and using ingredients only from nature, we're not putting any preservatives. If we are using water, it will get spoiled in 1 or 2 days. But if we keep them 100% dry, if we make sure there's no moisture in the products, then it will stay with us at least for up to 6 months. Most products, if we are making it, it will go good for 6 to 8 months. And that's why when we are using, we make sure we use 100% dry ingredients. Say in the containers that we use are completely dry and clean, so they're sterilized, clean and dry. And when we are making, if we have washed our hands, we dry it completely and then make the products. And whenever we are making our own products at home, it's always best to make in small batches, so that one, it gives us space to experiment, test and try. Because I will be sharing recipes, but I'm inviting you to create your own recipes, to experiment, to figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So when we make small batches, that kind of gives us that time and space to do the experiments. And also, in case something goes wrong with the batch, then we're not wasting too much of materials. And so that's why, as a thumb rule, it's best to make small batches. And in DIY, one very important thing is that whatever we make, we should patch test it. What patch test means is that if it's a skin product, then you apply a little bit anywhere. So it could be on your wrist or in the inner of your elbow. You just apply that product and keep it for 10 to 15 minutes to check if there are no allergic reactions on your skin. Or if you're using an other hair product or a cleaning product or anything, use a little and see, to make sure that you are not allergic or it's not causing any issues to you, because we are making it ourselves. These are DIY products, we need to test them also ourselves. So patch test is very important whenever you make a product, to make sure that you are not allergic or there's no issue with the product for you. And if the same product you're going to use for somebody else, for example, if I've made a bath powder and I'm going to use it for me, I will patch test on myself. Then if I want to use it for my brother, then I'm going to ask my brother to patch test it for him, because my body and his body, my skin and his skin, is going to be very different. So both of us need to test it if it's good for our body. So this is an important thing to do whenever we make our own products. Okay, so this was like just to give you a small overview and a little bit of theory as to how we can do this. So does anyone have any questions? any questions up till now? If anyone has, I can address that.
Saviri, this is Ruchika
Yes.
here. So natural will not be organic. These are two different things, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. Natural is not necessarily equal to organic. Organic means that uh, somebody says you can't hear me. I think most people can hear me, so there's probably some technical issue on your side. So to answer your question, Ruchika, see, organic means that the product. Suppose if you're taking shikakai, then the shikakai tree has not. There's no pesticides, no fertilizers, or no chemicals as such put into that shikakai tree to grow, and that tree has given you an organic produce, while natural does it. So for to figure out that whether the shikakai tree has been 100% been grown in organic is a very tough thing to do, unless you have your own shikakai tree or your own let's say bringaraj tree or any of the herbs. So I would say going for organic is tough, but 100% natural is possible. And mostly, the pesticides and chemicals are used in the regular crops like the fruits and vegetables that or the grains that we're eating, not these kind of crops that don't have that much market value. So generally most of these stuff are organic only, but definitely natural is not necessarily equal to organic. For example, if you make bath powder using besan ka atta from your kitchen, so if that moong dal has been grown organically, then it's an organic bath powder. Otherwise, it's just a natural bath powder. But anyway, we are consuming that besan heat. So I wouldn't, so putting it on our skin is not going to be very different. Deepa is asking, are these powders easily available? Yes, they most power actually in most cities in India, you will easily get all the ingredients that I'm going to share today. But I will also be sharing online resources where you can get all these ingredients. Okay, great. So then let me start with hair care. Just give me a minute. Okay. So yeah, just give me 1 minute. I just want to set up the other camera. Okay, so I'm going to begin with hair care. I hope you can see my other camera. Mm. I just want. Yeah, sorry, there was something wrong with the camera. Okay, so I'm going to start with talking about natural hair care. In hair care, I would say there are. I'm going to be talking about two kinds of shampoo. One which we can make is a liquid shampoo, which will use water. So it's going to be an instant shampoo that you have to make and use within a week maximum. And the other is, yeah, I will pin the ingredient. I will stop my video also so that you can only see the ingredients. I'll just and the other shampoo I'm going to talk about is a hair wash powder, which is a dry dry ingredient shampoo. So in hair care, I would say when we are, so I want to also tell you that everyone has different kind of hair. Somebody has wavy, straight hair, dry hair, oily hair, so frizzy hair. So everyone's hair type is different. So you will have to, experiment and see is what ingredients work for your hair type. In hair, in mainly there are three kinds of ingredients. One is a cleansing ingredient. For example, here I have shikakai. So shikakai is a very common Indian herb that you will get anywhere, in almost places in India you will get. So shikakai, and then this is soap nut. Soap nut is also called aritha or rita in the different languages. So soap nut and shikakai are mainly cleansing ingredients. So they work as to cleaning the oils and the dirt from the hair. Then the second kind of ingredients are the conditioning ingredients to soften the hair, to condition, because shikakai and soap nut can be very drying to the hair. Then the second kind of ingredient that one would want to incorporate in the shampoo is so I have here some hibiscus petals. So hibiscus, for example, is a very conditioning thing. Or I have methi seeds, which is called fenugreek. So methi is very conditioning, it makes the hair very soft. And then the third kind of ingredients would be the nourishing ingredients, which have some medical properties, or which will take care of something. For example, tulsi is very good for dandruff, or neem leaves are very good for dandruff. So when we are um, so I have only switched on the video of the ingredients. That's the only video on, so I think you should be able to see. So when we are formulating a shampoo, whether it's a liquid shampoo or a powder shampoo, when one is formulating, it's good to incorporate all these three kinds of ingredients. One is the cleansing, then the conditioning, and the third is nourishing. Now, a lot of ingredients can play all the three roles also. For example, fenugreek does help in removing oil, and it is nourishing, and it is conditioning. So one ingredient can play multiple roles, but it's good to incorporate these three to have a good, like a good formulation of a shampoo. I'm sharing this with you so that you can then formulate your own shampoo. I will share a recipe, but I don't want that to be limiting to you. You can create your own formulation based on what is available for you, and um, and what is your hair type. So the first shampoo that we can make is the liquid shampoo. So to make liquid shampoo, you need a handful of the shikakai and a handful of soap nut. This mostly okay, wait, let me try and pin the video. I think a lot of people can't see. Oh. Can you see the video now? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Okay, so here now, for people who haven't been able to see till now, this is shikakai. And over here I have soap nut. Soap nut is also called Rita or Arita. And then the other ingredients that I have today in this tray is aloe vera, fresh aloe vera. And I have a lemon. And then this is dried amla, but you can easily use the fresh amla. Amla is called gooseberry in English. And I have curry leaves or curry patta. Then this is some hibiscus flower petals. Then I have tulsi, which is the Indian basil. Then in this cup here, I have methi, which is fenugreek. Then I have black sesame seeds. Black sesame seeds is very good for hair growth. So black sesame seeds. I have guava leaves, then hibiscus leaves, and neem leaves. So some of these ingredients I'm sure you would have in your kitchen. For example, lemon, black sesame, curry leaves, fenugreek, and some of them you may already have in your garden, or you can easily find, not easily, but a lot of people do, like a lot of people in the cities or village, small towns will have neem tree or tulsi plant. And I feel these are good plants to have at home also, like aloe vera plant, tulsi ka plant. Even if you have a bigger garden, then having a hibiscus plant or a rose plant is very good because it will help you not only in the natural personal care but in other things also. Okay, so for liquid shampoo, you need a handful of shikakai and a handful of soap nut, and this is the base. So soap nut and shikakai is your base that we're going to make a liquid out of, for mainly for the cleaning. And but for most people, only shikakai and soap nut can be very drying for the hair, especially if you use it multiple times. Like if you're only using this, it can be very drying. And so you basically need to add any conditioning and nourishing herb to that. So that could be fenugreek seeds, it could be hibiscus flower or leaves. It can be curry leaves. It can be amla. So if I'm taking 20 grams or a handful of both of this, so then I can put 1 or 2 spoons of methi, or whatever herbs that are available for you. It could be a handful of neem leaves or guava leaves or tulsi or amla. So these are some of the common herbs that I've kept here. So you basically you take the shikakai, soap nut, and the herbs, and you boil it for 10 to 15 minutes, and then you squish everything and strain the liquid. And this liquid is your natural liquid shampoo that you can use to wash your hair. Now this liquid shampoo will get it in the fridge. You can keep it, it will stay up to a week, but beyond that it will not stay because we have added water, so it will get spoiled. And generally with liquid shampoo, my experience is it is best if it is fresh. So boiling can be 10 to 15 minutes. You don't have to boil it for very long. 15 minutes is good enough. In my opinion, my experience, the fresh shampoo is the best. Like that day I made it in the morning and I'm using it, then it's the best. If it is if I'm making it later on, then it's not it doesn't clean the hair that well. And if you're having oily hair and you need more cleaning, then you have to add more quantity of soap nut and shikakai. If you're having very dry hair, then you add sufficient quantity of conditioning herbs. So based on your hair type, you do this. Now another option is to soak these herbs overnight. So soak the soap nut and shikakai and the herbs overnight in hot water, and then the next morning, if needed, you can boil it for 5 minutes, or if not, just like that only, squash everything, filter it, and use that. So you cannot blend this in the mixie. You add other herbs you can blend, but shikakai and soap nut, you have to de-seed it and blend, which is a very it's a time consuming task to de-seed it and blend it, and it can be heavy on the mixie. So don't blend the this. If you want, you can blend the herbs. Like for example, you can take methi seeds and hibiscus flowers and tulsi and make a paste of it and mix that with the shikakai soap nut liquid. Personally, I feel boiling is better than soaking, only because when soap nut and shikakai is boiled, they release good froth. There's the soap in them is released much better when they are boiled. So personally, in my experience, boiling is better than soaking overnight. So I'm just going to also just screen. Okay. What would tulsi leaves do to the hair? So tulsi is a nourishing herb. So it's good for dandruff, it's good for hair fall, it's good for hair growth. So as I was saying, there are three kinds of ingredients. One is to nourish, one is to clean, and the third is to condition. So condition is to make it soft and soft and not very dry. And you would add any nourishing herbs based on whatever you want. If you want hair, if you have thinning of hair, you will add herbs that are good for hair growth. If you have hair fall, you will add herbs that are good for hair fall. So I just want to share screen the recipe card of liquid shampoo so that, okay. I hope you can see the share screen. If you can't, just let me know. So I have shared with you right now the liquid shampoo recipe, which is you take soap nut berry 10 grams or a handful of that, shikakai pods 10 grams or a handful, and then 5 to 10 grams you can take of any herbs that are available, like amla, hibiscus, fenugreek, or tulsi, neem, anything like that. Yes, I will send a PDF, and Ritika, I'll get back to you about the Rita and Shikai powder. Now, in this, I just wanted to add that you can make a only herbs shampoo. For some people, the Shikakai and Sopna do not suit their hair. So you can do, or if you're not able to get access to it, then you can do a only herb shampoo where you soak methi, hibiscus, tulsi, rose and moringa. This is just one recipe. You can try with other herbs also, but soak methi, hibiscus, tulsi, rose and moringa at least for half an hour, or if not overnight, and then you nicely squish it with your hands, and you can make a paste in the mixie or with the hand, which is the mortar and pestle. With that also you can make squeeze everything and filter it to create a juice, and that herb juice you can use to wash your hair. This may not be very efficient in removing oil, but it does clean the hair. Okay. So now, so the thing with liquid shampoo is, one, every time you want to wash your hair, you have to make it. You have to remember to make it instantly, and it can be a little more time consuming compared to a powdered shampoo. That is, but it's good. It's good to do if you have good access to fresh herbs, and yeah. Mm, how about Deepa has talked about how about extracting enzymes from this. So there is a recipe of how to create a using bioenzyme, how to create a shampoo. I can discuss that after we do the powdered shampoo. Deepa, you can also share if you know something. I also know the recipe of how to make a shampoo with bioenzyme, which I will share with you in the WhatsApp group. I will not talk about it right now. Okay. So personally for me, I find hair wash powder more easier to use, only because I can make it and keep it, and it will not get spoiled for even up to a year, and I can use it, and wash my hair whenever I want. So I personally, that's why I find hair wash powder a easier option, and that a bit, and I have found it more better for me, and that is what I use. But you can try both and see what works. Okay, so I'm going to show you a simple five ingredient five ingredient hair wash powder. So here I have in this bowl shikakai powder, and then I have soap nut or arita powder. Then I have this is called chigre in Kannada, arappu in Tamil. This is the chigre or arappu powder. This is a very common hair care herb available in south of India. I don't know the Hindi name of it. I have tried to find out, but till now not able to find that. But this is a very common hair care ingredient. The good thing about arappa is that it removes oil, it cleans the hair, but it doesn't dry the hair. It's conditioning and cleaning. While shikakai and soap nut, most of the times for most people dry the hair, arappa and chigre doesn't do that, and that is why this is a very uh, English name I don't know, but scientific name is Albizia mara. I'll type it in the. If you live in south of India, you will definitely be able to find this easily. In the north, you may not be able to find it, and if you but I'm just going to so the replacement of chigra is amla. So I have amla powder also over here, and the fifth ingredient is hibiscus. So I have taken all of the ingredients in the equal quantity. All of them are half a cup, around 20 to 30 grams of all of them. And to make a hair wash powder, it's very simple. You just have to mix all the ingredients. So I'm going to first take shikakai and soap nut, which is the cleaning herbs, which will remove the oil. So this is soap nut and this is shikakai. In case you have extremely dry hair and you feel that even soap nut is very drying for your hair, you can skip soap nut and use only shikakai. Mm, and this soap nut and shikakai powder you cannot make at home unless you have a very good mixie. It's very difficult to make because these are, see, this is the soap nut and this is the shikakai. They are very hard. So first of all you have to de-seed them. They have the seeds inside and they're very hard. But generally you should be able to source, at least in south of India you can easily find soap nut and shikakai powder. And in the north, I don't know about locally, but definitely online I can help you. So I've taken equal quantity of soap nut and shikakai here. This is a standard recipe you can customize based on your hair type. So equal quantity of shikakai and soap nut, and I'm adding equal quantity of amla powder. This amla powder, and I'm adding chigru. If you don't have access to chigru, you can just skip that and just do amla. And last, I'm adding hibiscus powder, flower powder, because hibiscus is very conditioning. As a herb, it's very conditioning. In case you don't have hibiscus, you can go for methi, which is fenugreek powder, or rose petals also you can go for. But hibiscus is the best. So I have taken 5 ingredients, and simply you have to just mix this. As you notice, I've ensured these are 100% dry because I want this shampoo to be with me for a longer time. So they're 100% dry powdered ingredients. If you're powdering at home, make sure you're drying the herb 100% before powdering. And this step is important. After mixing all the ingredients, you need to sieve it through a thin sieve. Otherwise, when you wash hair, the particles will get stuck in your hair and it will not be a very pleasant experience to wash with hair wash. That's why if you sieve it fine through a fine sieve, then when it's a very fine powder, then it's easy to use. So this is a very simple 5 ingredient equal quantity recipe of hair wash powder. In case you don't have access to any of the ingredients, you can skip it or find a substitute. Okay, so I'm going to now take questions, and I will also screen share the recipe that I just showed. Yeah. So is there any specific questions for the hair wash powder?
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Only concern, where can I get the ingredients? You said online. So, are they available on Amazon?
Okay, they are available on Amazon, though I have never bought personally. I will be sharing a list of online vendors that I have bought from and I trust their quality. I'll be sharing that.
Okay.
And you can also see in your local area, if you have any Ayurvedic store or any organic store or any herbal store, these stores will have all these powders.
Yes, but I need to know the common name of the product.
Yeah, that you will have to.
Like you said,
if you
South
just
Indian is a
Google
different.
If you just Google in your language, I'm sure you'll be able to.
Okay, so I'm going to get the list, right?
Yes, the online vendors list I will share.
Because with me, no, the name of the ingredients you're using.
Yes, I have
screen shared
the recipe. I have screen shared the recipe, and later on I will also be, what do you say?
On the WhatsApp.
On the WhatsApp, I will do it. Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. That is the only concern.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Any hair wash powder or liquid, we should apply it on our scalp or only in the hair?
Both. So how, right, I forgot to mention how to use hair wash powder. I will explain just after this. I will share, and you should apply on both scalp and hair.
Okay, and one more thing, for working women, if we use this shikakai powder, it's really getting late for us to wash the hair. Like the particles will get stuck in the hair.
That's why it's very important to sieve it. It should be a fine powder. And one thing that I think I did not share in the starting one. The natural personal care is all about taking the time. It's not going to be how you use a regular shampoo. See, when you use a regular shampoo, it's very
सरिता मेरा वेबिनार चालू है छोड़
it's when you're using a regular shampoo, the harsh chemicals will do a very quick wash. Within 5 minutes people can wash their hair and come out. But if you're using a natural shampoo, you have to take the time out, the love for your hair, the patience, care, everything has to be there. Initially it can take little bit of getting used to, but I have been using only natural for the last 5 years, and now it's become a part of the routine, and it doesn't feel like a extra work or burden to do it. But definitely it does clean your hair, does remove oil, but it takes a little effort compared to what we are used to of. And especially our hair is also so used to of that quick cleaning that it will take time for it also to adjust to a natural solution.
Okay, and in PPT you have mentioned like we have to mix it with the rice water.
If you want, can add. So if you are wanting to, you can add to when you make the powder paste of the powder to wash your hair, you can add um you can add rice water, or you can add soaked methi paste or curd. If you are not a vegan, you can add curd or aloe vera gel. These are just extra herbs to add to the nourishing and the
But will it make a
conditioning.
cold for us?
Sorry.
This curd and all make cold for us if you apply
Yeah,
it on our
curd can
hair.
be cold, so don't do it on a cloudy day or anything like that.
Okay, rice water in the sense the boiled rice water, right?
Yeah, when you pressure cook it, but if you open cook rice at home, then the rice water that's left, that is a very good it's a very good shampoo. Some people use only rice water to wash their hair.
But with salt with it, can we use that also?
No issues.
Hmm. Thank you.
Okay,
Hi,
so
Asawari.
yes.
Yeah, hi. So I had one question. This liquid, how long can we store this?
So the liquid, if you use it if you make it, it would stay up for a week to 10 days in the fridge, I would say. But best is to use within 2-3 days.
And can the same recipe be used for kids as well?
Yes, yes. All the recipes are safe for kids.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And in the liquid, if you make bioenzymes at home or you buy bioenzymes, then if you add in the liquid up to 3% or even up to 5% of bioenzyme, then it will stay longer. Then it can stay for 2-3 weeks also. And I think Deepa will share with us also how to make a enzyme based shampoo. I will just quickly also share how to use hair wash powder, and then maybe we can hear from Deepa what she has to share with us. So what I shared with you is a regular hair wash powder. It's like a very basic recipe with very only simply 3 to 5 ingredients you can use. But you can also choose to make what is called a herbal hair wash, where you incorporate a lot of herbal powders, like a cup at least, so to like to make it more nourishing and more conditioning, and this can be also used as a hair pack. So this recipe I will not be demonstrating, I will definitely share with you, because this means more ingredients means that you have to source so many more ingredients from the market or from wherever. So that's why I wanted to show a very simple recipe which has only 3 to 5 ingredients. But you can also make a herbal hair wash powder where you're adding lot more herbal powders in it to for more nourishment and more conditioning, and this can be used as a hair pack also. So basically, there are many herbs in hair care. I am trying to focus only on the herbs that can be easily available in India. But there are many Ayurvedic herbs like Bringaraj, Brahmini, then Triphala. All of these herbs are very good for hair care. Each one has its own properties. Some are good for hair fall, some are good for hair growth. So it's also, if you have any specific issues, you can ask me, or later just Google what are the good herbs for that, and you can incorporate that either in the fresh form or in the powder form in the hair wash powder. Okay, so how to use hair wash powder? So in hair wash powder or even the liquid shampoo, as I was saying, it takes first of all, it will take you a few washes to get used to. Maybe on the first wash it will not be a very satisfactory result, not as satisfactory as regular shampoo. It will take a few washes to kind of get used to of using um, natural shampoo and to figure out what kind of suits your hair. Okay. So, to use hair wash powder, whether it's the regular hair wash powder or the herbal hair wash powder, in whatever required quantity of powder you have, you make a paste with plain water, roughly 2 to 3 spoons. If you have, like long hair or medium length of hair. If you have shorter hair, you can use lesser. It's recommended to make the paste and keep it for like 10 to 15 minutes before using. If that's not possible, you can directly use it. And if you have access to, you can make the paste in hot water. Basically, soap nut and shikakai get activated whenever we are using hot water. That is why boiling is important when we are making the liquid shampoo, because the soap nut and shikakai kind of get activated. So after making the paste, we need to apply this powder, sorry, on our hair and scalp. It's, if you use hair color or something, you will know it's very, like, when you're applying. If you can see my, oh actually you can't see my video. Okay. Basically, you have to part your hair very well and apply it all over the scalp and hair. And because especially if you want to remove oil completely from all of the hair, then it's important to apply nicely everywhere. So take like a few minutes to do that, applying everywhere and massaging it into your hair. And then you keep it for 10 to 15 minutes and then rinse it off with plain water. This keeping for 10 to 15 minutes is important if you want to remove oil. Oil doesn't come off if you are just applying and immediately washing off, then it doesn't remove oil so well. You have to keep it for at least 5 to 15 minutes. If you keep it and then pour water and massage it and wash it off, then it really helps in removing oil. If you don't have hair oil in the hair and you want to wash, then you can immediately also rinse off. And to use this powder as a hair pack, you can keep for longer, like 20 to 30 minutes. And you can also add things like curd, aloe vera gel, rice water. These kind of things you can add in the paste and keep it on your hair. Especially if you're okay with, if you use curd at home, then curd is very good for conditioning and it's good for dandruff. So this is how we use the hair wash powder. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, and also I think Deepa, you want to share with us your recipe of using enzymes to make the liquid shampoo?
Yeah, hi, hello everyone. This is Deepa Mengani here. I have been making this bioenzymes of lemon. Okay, lemon and orange peels. That is the left out peels after I use the juice of lemon. And somewhere I happen to experience that we can make this soap nut solution also from this bioenzyme. And I'm sure, like as you said earlier, like once if we add this some drops or say some quantity of bioenzyme into our solution, it will enhance it. It will help us to keep it stored for longer period. But at the same time, if we are extracting the enzymes of these ingredients in a similar fashion, we can definitely create an bioenzyme of all these ingredients that you have asked us to incorporate into our um, uh, you know solution. And this is like bioenzyme is something which is like the longer you keep, the longer the better its quality goes. Okay, they do not say get spoiled or something like that. The basic solution calculation for this bioenzyme is what I make. Like say if we are making 1 liter of bioenzyme, if you want to make 1 liter of bioenzyme, it is like 30 grams 30 ml of 30 grams of lemon rinse. Okay, 30 ml of lemon rinse, and in case if you are using this whatever ingredients that you have asked us for, say 30% of that. Okay, and 10% of 10% of jaggery, organic jaggery. Okay, and rest 60% of water. Now, generally what I have had been hearing and seeing, like you just mix all these ingredients at a same time, and leave it to decompose, and say the enzyme will get ready for you, say in say 45 to 60 days. Okay, but with what happens is, like if I'm mixing everything in a go, this these ingredients starts developing this fungus on top, fungus layers on top, which is not very a good sign, not a very good sign for everyone. So what I tried going up with it, like mainly this fungus develops due to water. Okay, what I tried to do, I tried to mix jaggery with water for 24 hours. Okay, just mix and keep it for 24 hours. Let it rest, let the water rest with jaggery for 24 hours, and that water is used for creating this bioenzyme, and mix whatever enzyme that you want to make. Okay, mix anything that you want to make out of your interest, like say as bioenzyme we use lemon bioenzyme, which is multi-purpose use. It has, you can use it as your body wash also. And say if you need want to make it a soap nut solution, you add say after 30-40 days, if you have made this bioenzyme and you want to make a soap nut solution out of it, you add this shikakai or arita into this for say next another 15 days, and the soap nut solution of yours is getting ready. Okay, and then you got to just mix it in a mixer, and then extract the juice out of it. Like say understand, like these seeds are to be removed. Fine, that's it. And the soap nut solution is ready for you, which will last for longer, like say 2 years also you can use it. There's no harm in that. And secondly, this hibiscus flower and aloe vera gel and everything that you said, even that can be incorporated into your bioenzyme, and you can make this healthy complete bioenzyme, which will be like giving multi-purpose in values and their benefits to the enzyme. And you can just, and these bioenzymes, how they are used, like the thing is, firstly it takes say 45 to 60 days to get ready. But once they are ready with you, you remove the first extract from that, whatever the liquid it is there, you keep that separate, because that is a pure bioenzyme. Okay, secondly, the rind that is left out, okay, whatever extra ingredients that you added, once that is left out, you can add little water to it and mix it out, remove the extract from that and squeeze the pulp out, and use that thing as a pulp juice, that is used as a pulp juice. So first juice that comes out is the pure bioenzyme. The second juice that comes out is again the pulpy juice, which can be used for your purpose. And lastly, again the pulp that is left out, you can multi use that, or say you can use it as a compost also for your plants. So nothing goes waste out there. And one more important point, when you how to make that, and how to make that thing into in what kind of vessel you got to make. Basically, it's supposed to be made in a plastic container with a wide mouth, where you can add your ingredients easily and remove also. Like say small mouth bottle, if you are using, so it becomes difficult for you to remove the ingredients. Like say even basic lemon rind bhi aapne add kar liya na, to it swells in after it goes inside the bottle. So to remove that again, you got to just cut the bottle out, only then you can remove it out, right? Secondly, it has to be plastic bottle. And why plastic bottle? Because when you keep these ingredients to ferment, what happens is it releases gases. Okay, now when it releases these gases, you got to just take care, say for some first initial 20-30 days, you got to 15-20 days, you got to take care that you got to open the lid a bit and then close it again. Okay, just for the release of these gases. Okay, and this is the reason why we look out for plastic containers. Why? Because plastic containers still has capacity to expand. Okay, and store the some of the gases, whatever it is there inside. But if you're taking a glass bottle or say anything, it won't be expanding, it will blast. Okay, so plastic container firstly, and to release the gases every second day or something. Initial first week to आपको daily open करना पड़ेगा, because it releases a lot of methane from that. So kind of accordingly, and then 15 days आपने उसको care किया to open it and release the gas. And then after that, every week, once a week, also, if you do opening and releasing the gas, it'll slowly subside like that only. So for 3 months, initially 3 months it takes to get prepared, but that is only first time that you will take 3 months to prepare your bioenzyme. The second batch of your bioenzyme will take only 45 days, because when the fermented, how you use this healthy bacteria of curd to prepare curd from milk. So similarly, use this 1 spoon of bioenzyme into your ingredient, second batch of ingredient, and your second batch will get ready in half of the period.
Yeah, so Deepa, I think maybe I can share also on the group
Yeah.
of other people who are
Huh.
interested in making bioenzymes, like
Huh.
more resources,
Excuse
and
me.
I'm sure a lot of people make. But yes, it's definitely an interesting thing to make shampoo out of bioenzyme. I do have a recipe for that, though I've never tried it
Huh.
myself. But I will
Huh.
share that recipe also on the group.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Yeah.
Deepa.
Excuse me,
Thank
I have
you.
a question.
Yeah.
Um, I have a question to Miss Deepa.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you mean to say that we should actually use this jaggery water with
Use
lemon or orange, right?
lemon or orange. I make
Peel.
lemon bioenzyme, orange bioenzyme, and if I want to make these bioenzymes as a shampoo, I just have to add this soap nuts
In
into
order,
it.
okay, in order to not to get spoiled, right? Okay,
Jaggery is used not to get spoiled, and it will
okay.
help.
How many
Huh.
days it will take to get ferment?
Initially, the first batch I said it takes 3 months to get ready. Say
Okay, we
people,
should prepare this
yeah,
separately and keep it, right?
Yeah.
if you
Whenever we are
want,
preparing this
I
hair
will do
wash,
it.
we have to
I
add
think
this, huh?
what I will do is how to make bioenzymes. I will share that separately
Ha,
on
ha,
the group,
please,
because
please.
then it will take too much time right now to.
Ha, right now it will
Okay,
take too much
thank you.
time.
Bioenzyme is a whole different workshop. I know friends
Ha.
take an hour-long
True, true.
workshop on how to make your own bioenzymes. But
Right.
bioenzymes is a very good thing if you want to go natural, especially for home cleaning purposes.
Right.
And definitely it can be used for hair washing also. So I will
Ha.
share both the recipe of how to use bioenzyme to make shampoo and how to make bioenzyme in itself. If
Right.
Deepa, you have any resources, just WhatsApp that to me and I'll forward it. It will.
Sure, sure. I will share my link to you,
Sure.
and you can share that in our group also,
Yes.
and we will, everybody will know how it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
you can explore, we can explore bioenzymes.
If possible, we will work another workshop. I will explain everything into that.
Yes, that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that would be
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So coming back to specifically to the hair wash powder or to the liquid shampoo or anything, if anyone has any questions, just put it on the chat or come on audio. Or if not, I'll move on to the next recipe. Okay, no issues. You can ask me later also, and when you make the product, when you make it at home, the shampoo, and what if you're facing any issues or any questions, you can reach out to me, and I can help you with whatever. The next recipe that I would like to share is how to make your own herbal infused hair oil. So some of you may already be just doing this also at home, but basically it's very simple to infuse and make your own herbal hair oil at home, and then you don't have to buy these ayurvedic or any kind of hair oil. It's in when making hair oil, it's best if you can source pure oils, especially if you can source cold press oil, like cold press coconut oil or cold press sesame oil, or if you want to make hair oil out of anything else like mustard oil. But otherwise, if not, you can't find a source of good pure oil in your city or your area, then you can go for any whatever oil, coconut oil is available or sesame oil is available for you, you can use that. So in hair oil, I will not be demonstrating that. I will just share with you, because actually making hair oil is not a very complicated process. In a vessel, whatever it could be, um, if you have iron vessel or a stainless steel vessel or anything, since at home we're making a very small quantity, it doesn't matter. In that, you take 200 ml of coconut oil and 50 ml of sesame oil. If you don't want to use either of the oils, you can take 250 ml of only one. Like for example, you can take 250 ml of only coconut oil, and then in that you add the herbs that you want to infuse into the oil. So basically you can also use plain coconut oil for hair, but what we're doing is we're making a herbal infused oil to bring the goodness of the herbs into the oil when we are applying on the hair. So you can take any herbs, like I've shared, a lot of these herbs. So more in this, we are using conditioning and nourishing herbs. So hibiscus, amla, which is gooseberry, methi, which is fenugreek, neem, tulsi, then moringa leaves, aloe vera gel, black sesame seeds, kalonji, which is onion seeds, curry leaves, bringaraj leaves, brahmani leaves, then licorice, which is called muleti in Hindi, that's a root. So these herbs, if you have, if they are available, these are some of these herbs are not so easily available. So if they are available, or if you have, you can use. Otherwise, go for the simple ingredients like curry leaves, methi, neem, tulsi, amla, aloe vera, hibiscus. These are simple ingredients that you will have in your kitchen or in local market. So we create a paste of these herbs in the mixie using minimum uh, minimum water. Sorry, wait, my screen share went. Yeah, so you create a paste using minimum water. You create a paste of these herbs, and you put that uh, in the oil, and then you cook it. This is the hot infusion that I'm sharing. So in hot infusion process, you cook this, but very important, you have to continuously stir, otherwise that paste will burn. You can use you can use powder. If you don't have access to the fresh herbs and you want to put powders, you can put powders, but the powder will burn faster, that's all. So you have to cook this whole solution for 15 to 20 minutes. You can even cook longer, but generally around, since we're making very less quantity, 20 minutes is enough. And all the herbs that we are cooking will turn black, because they completely will lose all the water content, and everything will be infused into the oil. Then you have to switch off the gas and filter it. You and the lowest flame, so there's no temperature as such, but the lowest flame in your house, you use that, because we need very little heat. Once the oil has reached boiling point, then we need very little heat just to cook it properly, to remove all the moisture. Like I know a lot of in South Indian homes, they just make plain coconut plus curry leaves. So it doesn't have to be a lot of herbs that you use. You can just infuse curry leaves in coconut, because curry leaves, for example, is very good for early graying of hair and for hair growth and things like that. So just if you take a handful of curry leaves, take 100 to 200 ml of coconut oil, and just cook that for 10 to 15 minutes and filter, and you can use that. Or whatever combination of herbs that you want. The more herbs that you use, the more strong the smell will also be of the oil. So it will have this strong Ayurvedic kind of smell. A lot of people call it the Ayurvedic smell, or whatever, the herbal smell it will have. So if you use a lot of herbs, then it will have a very strong smell. So you just use like maximum 5 grams of each of the herbs, so just a little bit. And with the hot process of cooking, we cook it. The other option, if you feel that the when if you feel you don't want to use a paste or a powder and it's going to burn or things like that, then you extract the juice of these herbs. So you make a paste, you fill, and you squeeze the whole paste and extract the juice, and you cook this juice in the oil for 15 to 20 minutes. So I know people who make it in all these different methods. They use powder, you use fresh herbs, you use a paste, you use a extract of juice. So people use it. Everyone has their own way of doing it. I personally use the paste one, or I extract the juice and I make it. This is the hot infusion. The other way is to make cold infusion herbal oil, which means that in a bottle in a glass bottle preferably. You fill it 3/4 with whatever oil you want, and you add in the herbs, preferably in dry form. So for example, here I have these curry leaves, so I can add the dried curry leaves and the, let's say, dried hibiscus petals and some methi seeds, which is already in dry form. And so whatever ingredients I have, you put that in the jar. Actually, I forgot to bring the jar from upstairs. Tomorrow I will show you. So in that jar, you put the oil, you put the herbs, and you keep this jar in the sun for up to 10 days. Every day you have to keep it in the sun. Every day you have to open it to release the gases. And important is that make sure all the herbs are completely submerged in the oil. Nothing is popping out, whatever herbs you put. So you put these herbs in the your whatever in the glass jar with the oil, and you infuse it in the sun for up to 10 days, and then you can filter it, or you can just leave the herbs inside and you can use this oil. So this is a cold infusion process of infusing herbs into the oil. Okay, does anyone have any questions about how to make
Yes,
your
ma'am.
own herbal infusion of hair oil at home? Ruchika is asking
Yes,
what.
ma'am. I have one.
Yeah.
Okay. Like coconut oil is a carrier oil. Agreed with that. But the thing is this: some of my family member have allergic to coconut oil.
Then you
Can we
can
use
do.
any other?
Oh, yes. See, because I stay in South, and that's the most common thing we use. I was saying coconut oil, but you can use
Yes,
only
yes.
sesame oil, or you can use mustard oil also, but
Mustard.
you'd be okay with the smell.
Yes. Yeah, I'm okay with the smell, but the thing is this: coconut like allergic to some of the family members.
Yeah, sure. So don't use coconut.
Instead of curing it, it troubles.
Yes, then go for sesame oil. Sesame or mustard are also very good for hair. In
Okay,
Ayurveda,
wonderful.
especially, they
Thank you,
say
ma'am.
sesame is the best oil. So
Because I have made some mustard oil. The ingredients, some of them are missing, but the half of the ingredients we are given the list, like 5 gram each. So
sure.
I made recently as a double boiler.
Yeah. So
Like
was there any issues?
the I've used it and it's very good actually.
Yeah, yeah. And to answer Ruchika's questions, one is Bringaraj in shampoo recipe you can definitely use. So in the herbal hair wash powder, that recipe that I have shown, I use Bringaraj, but because Bringaraj is not necessarily easily available for everyone, in the demonstration I didn't show it, but you can definitely use Bringaraj for your hair wash powder in the shampoo, fresh or in the powder form. And yes, essential oils. I was just going to talk about that. In hair oil, you can add essential oils for fragrance, especially.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Bringraj and essential oils are everything available on Amazon, but
See,
you
everything
should
is
know
available.
the
You
English name or the Hindi name of Grita.
Bringaraj is the Hindi name.
Yeah, it's just you need to know the name in
Sorry?
English. Yes, yes. But in the shampoo you use few things with a different name.
In the
They are
shampoo.
easily available on Amazon, but they are little too expensive. Yeah, few things. I didn't know the name of there, but I definitely do the research. But herbs are definitely available on Amazon.
Yeah, see, with Amazon, I cannot tell you the purity of the ingredients. People do adulteration also. That's why I'm not, but yes, you can buy off Amazon. And Bringaraj, I did not talk about Bringaraj because it's not a easily available resource. But in the herbal hair wash powder, or you can, if you have Bringaraj growing fresh in your garden, or if it's available in the market, you can definitely use Bringaraj. And any if you have any, I will be sharing online sourcing resources also. So for essential oils, as I was saying, essential oils is something you will have to buy, you not something that can be made at home. But if you want the fragrance of your hair oil, or if you want a good fragrance, or if you want the healing properties of essential oil, you can add up to 1%. So in essential oil, the safety is very important. Never add more than 1% unless unless it's very specific to the recipe or the essential oil. The key rule is to not add more than 1%, which means if you're taking 100 ml of hair oil, in that you add 1 ml of um, essential oil. Even lesser is fine, because essential oils are very concentrated oils. You don't need more than a few drops. So good essential oils for hair oil is rosemary, lavender, tea tree, geranium. These are for a few essential oils that are very good for hair oil. So in case, if you don't like the fragrance of the herbs in your oil, you can add a few drops of essential oil to give a good fragrance in the hair oil. What is the use of guava leaves? Guava leaves is again it's a nourishing herb that is good for hair growth, and overall it's good for hair health. There's nothing specific. Yeah, cedarwood and thyme are also good essential oils. Yes, that is true.
Ma'am, which oil do you suggest, the cold pressed or the hot one, which is more effective, right?
Cold press is generally better. Even hot press is fine, unless it shouldn't but unrefined, like if you, especially in the market, if you buy a lot, most of the times, like if you're buying Safolaka's oil or something, that's a very refined oil. Uh go for regular oil. But cold press is also very good. It depends again on what is your availability. Everyone has different availability. Lemon in more quantity can be bleaching for hair. Yes, so that is why I don't recommend lemon in the shampoo, but in hair oil, if you want to add a few lemon peels, that is okay. But otherwise, in shampoo, it's not recommended. Yes, I did mention rosemary. So in essential oils, rosemary, tea tree, lavender, geranium, thyme, cedarwood. These are some of the essential oils. Of course, there are many more. See, a lot of this is also very well available on, um, on Google. If you just Google for understanding essential oils or what are the good essential oils. Rose hip is not an essential oil, it's a carrier oil. That is different, and generally in India, it's not an Indian oil, so I don't even use it that much or recommend it. Okay.
Ma'am, can we use rosemary directly in the oil, like when we are boiling? I mean,
Rosemary
cooking the oil.
herb? You're talking about the herb?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can use
Yeah,
that.
I have it with me. I have it
Then
in my garden.
yes.
How much to use that, ma'am?
See, in the oil you're talking about?
Yes.
In the oil, then don't go for more than 5 grams of the herbs, because too much
Fine.
concentration of herbs will give a different smell. So like even lesser than 5 grams you can go for, because rosemary
Fine.
is
And
strong.
which one is more effective, ma'am? Would you suggest the cold one or the hot process?
The oil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, cold or hot process, that is okay. Both are fine. It shouldn't be refined or super refined oil. But otherwise, cold process is good. You can go for that.
No, the process that we are making, hot process
Oh,
or the cold
you're
process.
talking about infusion, cold or hot.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
See, actually,
Which is more effective?
for external application, both are fine. It depends on hot process is easier, because in cold process, if it's not done properly, the oil can get spoiled faster. In hot process, because we're cooking it, there's very less chance of it getting spoiled. So it's good to have do hot process. But it doesn't, because see, in cooking they say when you're consuming the oil, it's not good to heat it and consume, because it loses its properties. But for external purpose, hot or cold, both are fine.
Ma'am, should
Perfect.
we
Thank you.
use this oil daily or sometime before head bath is
Yeah,
okay?
so that's why I had come to this slide. I will just complete this slide and then I'll take questions also, because it's almost 4:30. So I want to respect time, and people who need to leave can leave. So in natural hair care, one of the main things is, which I was talking about before also, is to give your hair love and time. It takes like, for example, if you want to bath with a hair wash powder, or if you want to make your own liquid shampoo, it will take that 15 to 20 minutes. That time it will take compared to using a regular shampoo. So we need to take out that kind of time and space to give our love hair and sorry hair love, and that give that on a long term basis, that kind of give results because our hair will be much more cared for. Then the other things, like I was talking also previously, is that in hair, natural personal care, a lot of things are interconnected. So for good hair, especially for people who are having hair fall, it's a lot of times it's because of stress. So being stress free, being happy really helps in taking care of hair growth. Then good amount of sleep is important for the hair to regenerate and the hair cells to grow. And balanced diet, so eating good nutrition is very important. How if sorry, my screen share got, how much ever you put good external stuff, if the internal health is not good, then the hair health will not be good. So I'm specifically talking about hair health, but overall, in all of this is good for our health. Then for our hair, vitamin D, which is the sun, is very good. So if you can spend in a week, or if every day at least 10 to 15 minutes in the sun, getting some good sunlight for your hair, for your skin, it's good not only for your hair but for health. Then coming to hair bath, it's recommended to go have a hair bath 2 to 3 times a week. But I don't want to change whatever your hair care routine is, whatever has been working for you. You don't have to change it, but just I am giving you recommendations to go for 2 to 3 times. And in Ayurveda specifically, they say not to hair bath with hot water. They say use cold or lukewarm water. Hot water is not good for the hair, but if you have been used of hot water and that is what works for you, then you don't need to change that. Then a very important thing is hair massage. So to take care of hair growth, to kind of, it's very important to do hair massage at least 2 times a week, so 2 to 3 times. And when you're doing hair massage, naturally you can use any hair oil, whether it's what you've made or what you're buying from the market. And if you have time, then use lukewarm oil to do the hair massage. You can and do the massage, and either or you can keep it overnight or for 1 to 2 hours, and then you can wash the hair. So you don't have to keep it for very long. If you keep it for like 2-3 days, then generally oil will attract pollution and dust on the hair. So it's generally recommended to wash off within 2-3 hours or after overnight. Then keeping the hair tight, not like somebody was saying, if we keep hair tied for too long, it starts to make our roots weaker and pulls it. Okay, I haven't read about that, but what I've read is to, if we keep the hair open for too long, if we are all the time keeping it open and we don't tie regularly, then we get a lot of knots and hair fall increases. And it's good to trim regularly and use hair packs. So Sneha is asking about hair packs. So you can use the hair wash powder as a very good hair pack, or any of these fresh herbs. You make a paste of it and mix it in curd or aloe vera gel, or even just the paste of it, and use these herbs to create a herbal hair pack for yourself. Another ingredient to create hair packs are green gram, which is the moong dal. Moong dal or the full green gram, making a powder or paste of that and mixing that with herbs and using is good for hair pack. Yeah. So I hope this kind of gave a rough idea. And of course, see, in hair care, there are different cultures have different ways of taking care of hair, and you can please feel free to follow whatever is your routine, your culture, whatever works for your hair, because everyone has different kinds. So it's also 4:30. So to take care of time, I will stay around for another 10 minutes if anyone has any questions or anything you want to discuss. But otherwise, for today, we will conclude with the natural hair care, and tomorrow I will be covering skincare and oral care. So it'll be the same link, the same time, 3 to 4:30. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope you got some recipes, some idea on how you can actually care for your hair. So thank you everyone for being here. Yeah. So I will
Sabri, I
answer
have a
questions now if anyone wants to ask. Yes.
Yeah, Sabri, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have any recipe for conditioning one's hair, like after shampoo or whatever, after the hair pack? Any conditioner? Can we make homemade conditioner?
Yeah. So generally, if you make your hair pack or shampoo in such a way that there is sufficient conditioning herbs, generally it's not required. But otherwise, and if you go for hair packs with where you mix curd in it, then the hair is very soft and conditioned afterwards. But otherwise, you can make flaxseed gel. Flaxseed is alsi in Hindi, which is a natural conditioner. So either you mix. I'm not remembering the very exact recipe. I can share the exact recipe on the WhatsApp group. I will share. But you basically, the flax seeds, you boil it and create a gel out of it. And that gel is a natural conditioner. But the exact recipe of proportion and all, I will share today on the WhatsApp group for the hair conditioner.
Thanks. And what about coconut milk or hair growth or generally conditioning, something like that?
Coconut milk. I have never used coconut milk for hair, but yes, I have heard that it's um it's good for thing. But
Ma'am, I can share the recipe with coconut milk if you don't mind.
how to make coconut milk or how to use it for hair.
How to use it for hair.
Okay. See, personally, I have never used coconut milk for hair, so I don't know. I will probably have to research about this and get back to you about the coconut milk.
Yes, actually, I know what I said. I can share if you want.
Yeah, okay, share.
Okay, so the coconut milk, coconut oil, virgin coconut oil, if you have heard.
Yes.
So the oil you can make from coconut milk. You just have to cook on slow gas. You have to cook medium flame.
You're talking about how to make virgin coconut oil. Your voice is breaking. I'm not able to hear you very clearly.
So you
Namita, your voice is breaking. Can't hear you very clearly. Okay. Somebody
I
has
can
said,
write it down and share.
yeah, you can put it on the WhatsApp. Yes, somebody said that coconut milk
Yes,
is good
I'll
for
do that.
conditioning hair and dandruff. Okay, so this is something I did not know. I do not know so much about coconut milk. Ruchika, if you've raised your hand, you can come on mic if you have any questions. Can you talk about natural hair color? Yes, I will do that, Ira. I will tell you about.
I think
Yes, Ruchika.
that's okay, sir. That's okay. That I raised it.
I think it's my internet connection. Everyone's voice is breaking for me. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
How
Kalpana.
about methi paste for conditioning hair?
Yes, you can use, but generally methi paste you don't have to matlab you for me personally I incorporate all the conditioning herbs into the shampoo so that I don't have to do double washing also.
Okay,
So if
okay.
you incorporate methi into the shampoo, it will naturally condition the hair.
Thank you.
Somebody, okay. How does onion seeds help? Onion seeds are very good for hair growth. So if Sonali is still around, onion seeds is very good for hair growth. And only somebody was talking about using onion juice on hair. Onion juice is again good for hair growth. It's good for if you have dandruff or lice. But if you add the raw onion juice on your hair is going to smell of onions. So if you're okay with that, you can go ahead. Even people use egg onion juice for strengthening of hair and all of that, but all of this will smell. So if you're okay with the smell, you can go. But people add onions in the hair oil. So if you add onions in the hair oil, the smell is not as bad as it is when you add raw onion juice on the hair. Okay. Yeah. So somebody was talking about natural hair color. So I do have a recipe of natural hair color, which I can definitely, I will share on the WhatsApp group also with you guys. But with natural hair color, the thing is it's very tricky. It's see, when we use a commercial hair color, the results are very guaranteed because you know that certain ingredients are added like that. But in natural hair color, it depends on a lot of circumstances at how good the color comes, especially because people want black color. If you go for natural mehendi color, there is no issue, but or a dark brown color also is possible, but black is very tricky when it comes to natural hair. So I don't share the recipe so easily to people, because I feel a little like it's I don't have guarantee results for it. See, other things I can say with confidence, yes, if you use it, it's good for the hair, but with hair color, it's kind of that. But definitely I'll share the recipe. Basically, you use the henna leaves, the indigo and amla as a combination for black color, but it doesn't always come, because and it's also very time consuming. You have to overnight soak it in tea decoction in a iron vessel, and then after you apply it, you have to keep it for 1 to 2 hours on your hair, and it then wash it with plain water, no shampoo, and then the next day oil it and shampoo. So it's time consuming to use natural hair color. Not always you will get a black color. Can be used Sonali, I didn't understand. What is mandoor powder? Maybe you want
Just
to...
a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an iron based powder. Whenever you mixed with the henna or like in the iron vessel, the color of the mehendi turns black.
Oh,
So
okay.
it helps in making like the blackish hair or a grayish hair kind of
Have you
thing.
used it?
Yeah, I've tried once on my hair.
So it works for that.
It works, yeah.
Okay. Ira, for brown color, you can use mehendi, and if you want a little darker color, mix indigo leaves powder and amla powder in that for dark brown. Okay, somebody was asking what is for hair volume. Basically hair to get thick or good volume of hair, you basically need to switch to natural shampoo and use all of these herbs. All most herbs are good for hair growth and good for hair volume, like methi, hibiscus, amla, curry leaves, even shikakai soap nut really help in the volume of the hair. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Anyone else has any other questions? You can just come on the mic or just put it on the chat window, or otherwise we can close for today.
Not a question. Thank you so much, Asavri. It was nice and informative.
Yes. Thank you, Pooja, for coming. Okay. She's talking about I have patchy growth. So this, as I was also saying before, if it's a medical condition, then I cannot really help you, because I'm not a medical practitioner. So that would be difficult for me to like diagnose what is the issue and tell you what herbs can work for that. So it'll be, if you have any issue like that, it's also good to consult a Ayurvedic doctor, because they generally will have the knowledge, plus they will give you the natural or herbal remedies rather than the chemical ones. I
Asaveri,
Yes.
to make a fenugreek powder, just simply
Grind
grind
it in the
in
mixer.
order to make a powder, not to soak them or do anything of that sort.
No, if you want to make a powder, you grind it in the mixie. If you want to store it for long, if you want to use it within 1 or 2 days, then you can soak it and make a paste.
Thanks.
Please retell about natural black hair color process. Okay, so natural hair color, I have a PDF on it where I have the full recipe of how to make your own, how to make a natural hair color. Though, of course, as I was saying, I cannot guarantee, with natural hair color, it can. And also, I think I will research about this powder that somebody had mentioned, Mandoor powder, and I'll get back to you on natural hair color on the WhatsApp group. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. I think we'll close for today and we'll meet tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and I will talk about skincare and oral care.
Thank you, Asavari. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Asavari.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Savri. Have a great day.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.